Hello, everyone. We are here at the Rose Bowl where Ohio State has defeated Oregon 41-21 after taking a 34-0 first half lead. I'm Bill Rabinowitz, along with Joey Kaufman. I don't think either one of us, one of us picked Ohio State, but no, I don't think either one of us thought we'd see the domination that we saw in the first half. That was peak Ohio State football. I don't know that you can play any better than they did in building that 34-0 lead. They got a tiny bit dicey in the second half. I mean, just early, it's 34-15, and then Ohio State shut the door. A comfortable win, a huge win. Ohio State now plays Texas at the Cotton Bowl on, January 10th? January 10th, and the semifinals. I mean, think about a month ago, this program was at its low point.
Literally a month ago, because we're recording this on January 1st. December 1st was the day after the loss to Michigan.
Right. So what's your take on what happened today?
I think Ohio State is the hottest team in the country right now. You think about it, and it's interesting because Ryan Day talked a little bit about this earlier in the week, the idea of momentum. And sometimes you see with wild card teams, the NFL playoffs, right, win a game, you get hot. And it kind of feels like that's what's maybe happened here. Ohio State only had 10 days off between the Tennessee game and this one. Oregon had a much longer layoff. So I think that's gotta factor in to some degree. I mean, I think were able to. It felt like we were watching the same team from Tennessee. Jeremiah Smith gets in the end zone on the first drive. Emeka Egbuka gets it on a deep ball on the second drive. It felt like a continuation of that performance, and Oregon just never at any point in this game looked in it.
Yeah, I think when they got the second touchdown, it was 34-15.
Right.
And then they stopped Ohio State on 3-and-out. Early third quarter, thought, well, there's enough time if this continues. And then Ohio State got a 3-and-out with 2 sacks and then scored on the next possession, and that was it. And the rest of it was just garbage time. Will Howard played very well. I mean, you can't talk about this game without talking about Jeremiah Smith, who is such a special player. He's kind of their get-out-of-jail-free card. I mean, when in doubt, throw it to Jeremiah. And he makes dazzling play after dazzling play. Emeka Egbuka made a great catch. It was a great throw by Will Howard on that touchdown. And then Travion Henderson, who's an explosive runner, but hadn't had one of those runs all year. Well, he did it today, a 66-yard touchdown run.
I think for the defense as well, this game had to be really rewarding.
Right.
You think about 2 months ago in Eugene to give up 32 points. That was the low point for that side of the ball, and it led to some fixes.
Soul searching.
The re-engineering was the word, but they really made a series of adjustments in terms of trying to improve the pass rush, to give up fewer big plays, to line up quicker, and some of it was just simplifying what they were calling as well. And this was going to be the real test because they hadn't faced a quarterback as good as Gabriel since Dylan Gabriel, and they got the job done with pressuring him to the degree they did. I think it was 8 sacks.
Oh, was it 8? I thought it was 7.
Well, I thought it was 6, and JT Tuimoloau corrected me and said it was 8. We'll see how it goes down the stat sheet. But either way, it was the season high because 5 against Indiana had been the most, and they got home against Gabriel. They were able to pressure him in that first game, but they never could get all the way there and get home. He got rid of the ball quickly. He's really good at that, avoiding sacks, quick trigger, and they got to him this game. And they batted some balls down as well.
Right. Oregon did not have a gain longer than 12 yards until the drive at the very end of the first half. To hold that offense to no explosive plays in the first half is pretty impressive. I mean, the yardage thing was just crazy. I had it in my notebook. It was something like 390 to 60 or something like that. It was some crazy number. And this is the number 1 team in the country, the only undefeated team in the country, and they made them look like, Purdue. I mean, worse than Purdue.
Purdue had more.
Right. And this reminded me in the first half of the 2014 Big Ten Championship game against Wisconsin. When 59-0, the famous Cardell debut.
You said that the Tennessee win too.
Yeah, but I mean, this was 34-0 in the second quarter. I think the Wisconsin game was 31-0 at halftime. Obviously, Oregon did score a couple touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, so didn't end up that lopsided. If you look at the score, you think, okay, that's a solid win, 41-21. It was far worse than that. This was a beatdown.
It was, and they're going to have momentum going into the next round again, where they are going to stay hot. I mean,
Well, Texas is dangerous. Texas has a lot of talent.
Yeah.
But you look, I mean, Texas they almost blew a game of epic proportions today. I mean, they were up big against Arizona State. They let them back in the game. They had to go to double overtime to win. Look, the game's going to be in Dallas. It's going to be a pro-Texas crowd. But you know what? I think Ohio State feeds off that. They historically have liked that. You know, they've played well in kind of quote-unquote hostile environments.
I do think they'll score more points in the Cotton Bowl this year than last year. I want to go out on a limb and make that prediction that they will score more than 3.
I would agree with that assessment. With some reservation, I would agree with that. This is a completely different team than the one that we saw a month ago. I mean, the Michigan thing is, people are going to wonder about that game forever. But we can say this: that team doesn't exist anymore. The team that showed up on November 3rd, the offense that is, this is the Ohio State team we thought we would see all year.
Well, I think that's what made this game so interesting coming into it, because you had the Michigan game on one hand, which was the true, I think, as bad as they have looked at any point this season, and then you had the Tennessee game, which was as good as Ohio State had looked all season, and which would prove more correct. Right. Which side of the coin was going to
good point
reveal, and I think it showed the Tennessee game was maybe more of an indication of who this team is, and the way it can distribute the ball to its playmakers on offense, the way Will Howard can stretch the ball downfield and connect on some of those deep balls, the way they can hit on some of the runs to aid the pass game. And the defense is getting pressure and getting home in the pass rush. I mean, it's just a complete, total domination, and then the carryover from Tennessee. If you think about the full game against Tennessee in the first half against Oregon, those 6 quarters of football, they outscored them, I think 70-something to 20-something.
Yeah, well, 17, right?
17, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and Jaden Fielding made both those field goals, including a 46-yarder. I mean, so this was, no turnovers.
You could tell he was relieved after he
did
his fist.
Yeah. So
the team kind of mobbed him.
No turnovers by the Ohio State offense. They protected Will Howard pretty well. He was sacked once or twice, I think. But by and large, that offensive line, which again the object of so much scrutiny with the makeshift nature of it, is held up.
And it didn't always look like that from the jump. You think about one of the, I think it was was it the second drive, or it was some point in the first quarter
they didn't do it,
where
right.
Jordan Birch got around Josh Fryer, made Will Howard slide in the pocket, and just had to get rid of it and throw to Travion Henderson. And you wondered, that was not a matchup Ohio State had faced the first time against Oregon. They didn't have Jordan Birch available, and could he blow stuff up? But after that play, it never really felt like Oregon's defensive line prevented Ohio State from doing what it wanted to do on offense.
Well, we'll have much more to say down the road. We've got a game in, 9 days? 9 days?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Texas, and then we'll see if they can continue to move. But this does feel like a team at this point that can win a national championship.
No, there's no question. If they play like this, if they play like they did in the first half especially, I don't think anybody in the country can touch them. Now, playing at this level, that's hard to do. A lot of things have to go right. But if they do, I think they win it all.
Well, that's it from the Rose Bowl. Bill Rabinowitz and Joey Kaufman, Ohio State 41, Oregon 21.